Hi, I'm Jay Haynes for the Film Sensei YouTube channel. Today in this video, we are going to do part 4 of the 4-part series on how to do this Superman takeoff effect shot. Welcome to part 4 of the Superman takeoff effect series. In part 1, I did just the takeoff. In part 2, I did the ground cracking. In part 3, I did the debris explosion. And so in this tutorial, we are going to finish it up by adding 3 more effects. One will be the shake. Secondly will be a sound effect that will be associated with the takeoff. And thirdly will be a dust particle forming around the ground cracking and the debris itself. We're going to start with the dust particles first, and I'm going to use, again, Action VFX assets. These Action VFX assets are free assets, and you can download them and use them all that you like. And if you go to the Action VFX website, you will find them. I will leave a link in the description below. In that folder of free Dust Wave movies, there are 10 of them, and today I'm going to use number 7 and number 8, okay, because those two I like the most for this particular project. What I want to do is I want to create a new composite shot, and I'm just going to call this dust, and that way I can sort of overlay those dust particles or those dust assets into this movie. I'm going to start with the dust number 7, and there it is, right? And what I want to do is I just want to sort of move it a little bit, and what I actually want to do is just sort of shift it anchor point wise so that it's sort of in the middle. And I am going to set the blend mode of this to add, and I will do the same on the other one as well, okay? But to make it completely visible, I'm going to create a new grade layer, and under the effects, I'm going to search for the demult key, and I'm going to add that to the grade layer itself. So that way, I can see both of these assets. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take the second one, and I'm just going to flip it over 180 degrees by adjusting the rotational aspect of that. And then I'm just going to shift it so that I can see exactly, where it is, and it'll basically essentially be in the same place as the other one. Okay. And so now I have both of these sort of happening here in the same place at the same time, kind of a thing, right? Oh yeah, that looks great, Oh yeah, that's going to be perfect. Now the problem is that there is a line here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by turning off the one dust wave so that I can create a mask to sort of cover that line on the other one. So I'm just going to use the rectangular masking tool and just sort of like that, okay? And then, that's good. And then I'll hide that one, open this one, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to mask off that line on the bottom there, okay? And then when I put them back together, they're a little bit off, so that's okay. I'm just going to shift it ever so slightly so that they basically are right up against each other. You're going to see a little bit of that line there, but that's okay. Okay, and I could feather that or blend that, but in the ending shot, it's not going to really be visible. Now, I do want it to match the scene, and to match the scene, I want these to be sort of gray, so I could tint them or color them, but what I'm going to do is just cheat and use a hue, saturation, and lightness effect, drop it on the grade layer again, and then just turn down the saturation, right, so that it's gray, okay? It's basically black and white is what it is. All right, so I'm going to come back into my media bin. This is my Superman takeoff that I did, and I created a render file And that's what I've got so far. What I'm going to do is right-click on it and make it into a composite shot. And then I'm going to take my dust and I'm going to drop it on top here, okay? And what I want to do is go to the point where the takeoff actually happens this way. And there. And we're just going to back this up until it's there. And then you can see where it is. What I want to do is just put it in place down here. And just to blend it a little bit better, I'm going to cut the opacity down to about 50%. And I think maybe I will back it up perhaps just a little bit more like this, because it's sort of billowing out from underneath there. That looks pretty good, I think. What do you think? I think that's probably it. So I'm just sort of layering that in, right? That little dust layer, just layering it in there. Yes, and it's sort of just billowing out. That's going to be good. Okay, so there's the dust. Now let's talk about adding the explosion. That'll be easy, right? The sound effect itself, as soon as I fire up, I'm going to use a dirt explosion #1 wave. And again, if you go to Action VFX, link in the description below, there's a series of free sound effects that they have provided for you. And what I'm going to do is just take that and drop it in here, so then you can hear the sound effect as it is being played, and it sounds like this. Right, and it kind of has that dirt flying around and hitting the ground and stuff like that. So there you go. All right, then the last thing I'm going to add is going to be that shake effect. Okay, now I could do it in all kinds of different ways. A lot of people will actually film something and then shake the camera, bring that data in. I'm just going to add a new grade layer, and to that grade layer, I'm going to add the HitFilms shake effect. And then I'm going to keyframe the shake of it. So I'm going to start by backing up just before I leave, and I'm going to take the amount down to 0, and I'm going to keyframe it. I'm going to move forward 1 frame, and then I'm going to have a pretty good shake, maybe 200 or maybe even 250. The speed, I'm going to go up a little bit, maybe 3 in this case, okay? And then I'm just going to let it kind of die down over about a second. So if I move forward a whole second in the shot and then draw this down to 0 by the time I'm actually gone, okay, then if I go ahead and do a RAM preview, it will look like this. All right, and pretty much that's it in a nutshell. Now, I could layer in some other things if I wanted, maybe some dirt smacking on the camera lens, or some lens flares like J.J. Abrams might do, something like that, but that's sort of all to taste and whatever else you want. So I'm going to leave links in the description below to Action VFX as well as the other 3 parts of this tutorial. And if you have any questions or feedback, leave them in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching. So in this 4-part series on how to do the Superman effect takeoff. Oh, let me say that again. So in this 4-part, no, let me say that one more time.